All right, we are live. Welcome, everyone. It's Monday evening. Practical Work on Self, Chapter 2. That's where we are at. I'll share my screen. Should I share my screen or we don't have to?
You decide. If you would like to do it,
It's your show.
Hmm.
If nobody has anything yet, I can share some thoughts of my readings from this week.
great.
If,
Love to hear them.
in the in the line of coincidence control, this last weekend we had the workshop. I think everyone here was there, and it was had to do with vibrations. And in the notice, I have the copy in Spanish, so I don't know if the page is on, but there is almost three pages or 2 pages from the beginning of this chapter. There is about, maybe you can, Nick, help me.
Hmm.
Um, the real emotions um, spark a corresponding empathy. I'm doing a translation, huh? In the recipient. Um, in the presence of someone who is able to produce a real emotion, we can experiment feelings, maybe for first time, and which very frequently someone who has um, awakened the emotional superior body has learned to radiate emotions. Remember, this is my translation. And he finally gets to be some kind of celebrity guru, and people join him as sheep to bathe in their superior emotions. Usually, sometimes these superior emotions can take wrongly with some mysterious force, cosmic force, superior cosmic force, or are somehow interpreted as a pseudo-religious force, but in reality are simply emotions. Um, I I took note of this because we did a workshop of vibrations, and I am always passionately interested in the way the false teachers or gurus or whatever um, make people join him, and this could be a way that we should take care because vibrations and emotions, higher emotions, can be conveyed as vibrations. I understand this. I'm not sure, so I'm pushing this to the group so we can talk about.
Hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That is that is my share. What more? I have more.
So let's see if we can refine the question. Does anybody want to take a shot at that? Or Bernie?
I'm not sure, so that is why I wanted to share with the group and with you, David. So at least to explore this
Sure.
strange vibration. And if I may, I would say that um, um, I tend to be very suspicious to the feeling of happiness or good being that is sometimes the good of the trait of the false teacher, no?
Yeah.
Um, that has to do with well-being, happiness. That is, I think, more in the line of therapy. That is not bad, of course, but
It may
I
not
would,
be what we're looking for.
yes, I think it's not developmental. Um, Help me because I don't have exactly the words. Evolutionary or transformational. But anyway,
It's not a way of creating real change. It's, as Gurdjieff says, it's a way of rearranging the furniture.
uh, thank you. Yes.
So, does anybody else want to take a shot at reformulating? So, which you're somewhere in the reading, it's in one of these chapters, maybe it's in HBM. Some people can manifest this, like the first level of real emotion, and they emanate that, and people gather around them, and then he kind of manipulates them potentially into following him. Is that about what you're saying?
Yes, like a magnet, but it's a toxic magnet. It's for the benefit
Yeah,
mostly
so
of.
the magnet is, there might be there's something real there.
Yes.
It acts like some sort of magnet, and yet the possible that that particular individual doesn't have the depth of what we're trying to talk about.
That's it.
And so what's your question about that?
My question, I don't have exactly a question. I ponder about it. So um, to understand the mechanism, to understand it,
Okay.
at least to see it,
Okay.
and and
Good
uh,
question.
and I am always putting my thoughts or my mind or whatever, like scientific at best.
Sure. Yeah. So
Um,
let's start with your first question. What is the attraction, right? That was the first part of it. Like, what
yes.
creates the magnetism?
Hmm.
Why are people
Da-
attracted?
David, it's interesting. I think at some point you said the first level of real emotion, and I kind of started thinking about that. And it seems to me that the first level of real emotion is almost mechanical in nature, whereas you
Well,
emanate.
no, we're talking about a something real. Let's just say a real emotion, okay? Don't dismiss it because, oh, that's just mechanical. Bernie is saying there's some individuals out there that attract people from their emanations because
Hmm.
they're emanating what is a real emotion,
Hmm. Hmm.
right?
Yes, That's it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What is, and that that acts as a magnet for people. The question is, what is that magnet? And why does it act as an, what is the magnet and why does that magnet act as a magnet? Why does it attract people?
Nick, could you go to that paragraph in English so everybody could
Which paragraph?
in the paragraph I was reading the real emotions more a little more you know more a
This
little
thing
more.
Pretty much end of the chapter. It's near to the end of the chapter.
near to the end of the chapter.
Yeah.
Oh, well, here it is.
David, you want to give me the page number or something?
Well, try 28. Because you
28.
said real emotions, right, Bernie?
Yes, that's
Okay.
with real emotion.
So it
Yes, here
starts
you go.
with that.
That's it. Strike
Okay.
of the Marine Rose. And the paragraph before that is also very interesting because those who can produce real emotions in themselves never communicate about emotional states in mental centrum language. They just radiate the emotions produced in the machines by the non-phenomenal self, allowing the emotions to speak for itself. What does this paragraph elicit in me and my mind, at least? I think everyone has experienced when you are with a person, at least I have experienced it many times, that he is very talkative and very convincing about his state. He has all the keys. He has, but you feel a blah 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 blah. That the guy, in a way, a paradox is that he, in reality, is trying to convince himself of what he is saying, and he's using you to do that.
Let's
Have you?
start a little more simply.
Uh,
Okay. Those who can produce real emotions in themselves. Do we do we understand what that means? Not necessarily in the head brain. You don't have to define it in your head brain.
Well, I don't know exactly how to
Me
elicit.
neither. Me neither.
Well, you don't know how to elicit or you don't know how to define.
What a question.
Both.
Probably,
Both.
probably both.
Yes.
Okay.
Probably both.
So, all right, then that's a good exercise. What would be an example of a real emotion? Everybody.
Empathy.
Okay. Let's say that empathy is one. We sometimes use the word compassion,
Yes.
Gratitude.
gratitude. Go ahead.
Humanity. Um,
Vanity. Did you say vanity?
humanity.
Oh, humility. It would be.
No, yes, humanity or humanity. You see in front of you another
Person.
real flesh.
Okay.
Okay.
How about surrender?
What is it?
Surrender. Like you see someone and all of a sudden from nowhere, you just surrender yourself like completely.
Surrender. Surrender.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
so I would call active surrender to be an
Yes.
example of a real emotion. Because there's the kind of surrender called giving up, right? We don't mean
Make your another. I'm sorry. I'm very talkative. Making yourself vulnerable.
Mm.
Vulnerable.
Yes.
vulnerable. Yeah.
So how to
Okay.
distinguish between like real emotion, let's say empathy, or mechanical the
Sympathy.
empathy,
You're thinking of
sympathy,
sympathy.
right?
So what is a mechanical emotion, Nikhil?
Something that is automatically produced by the machine.
No. I mean, we read a whole book on it. In the
The
abstract
reaction.
of the chapter, the machine has no real emotions. What we call emotions are just automatically reflexes of the mental centrum in response to motor centrum's organic reverberation. So that's like a reaction
Mm.
is a mechanical or negative emotion. And the reaction may be feel good, like when someone starts praising you, oh man, you did a great job. You look so good. You're so handsome today. I can't believe it. And then that's a negative emotion if you puff up. Okay. It just happens.
I would guess as superior emotion would be an emotion that, there is a saying that a saint is a saint because he doesn't know he's a saint. In that line, I would say the real emotion is not an emotion or a sensation or a feeling that we are interpreting. The mind is not there. It comes from the heart, really. But also, yes, well, the machine is there
The
all the
machine is
time.
with us as long as we're in a body. Okay.
Yes.
It just who has control of the ship from time to time. Okay.
Mm.
So those that have real emotions, this paragraph is saying they don't need to talk about it. They just radiate it
Mm.
because they're not trying to radiate it. They just are. They're in presence.
Mhm.
Mm.
You know.
Yes.
It seems like that's a more unfiltered way of communication, or maybe un unfiltered communication. Yeah, is what come to my mind.
Group guys, how could we now, in this moment, with together, induce or produce or whatever superior emotions? How do you think we could?
Well, are we doing that right now?
Yes, in a way.
Doesn't the invocation place us on the plane, on the spot, the portal of being able to exhibit those?
Mm.
And different people will come at it very differently. Some will have compassion, some will rise up in a certain way and speak, some will surrender and just enrobe themselves in the space. And then as he goes on, he says, in the presence of someone who is able to produce real emotions, we experience feelings. Perhaps for the first time, very often, someone who has awakened to the higher emotional body and has learned to radiate emotions could could take on the role of being a celebrity guru. Now, I mean, he's obviously talking, he's segregating. There are people who have the emotional body, and they may be gurus, but they may not be seeking to have people follow them like cattle, right?
Mhm.
Okay, and because people want to bathe in the higher emotions.
So I have a question here.
Please.
In this paragraph, it says that one who has awakened to the higher emotional body and has learned to radiate emotions. Okay, I'm just emphasizing the word has learned to radiate. What if a person is really like has risen and has a very like well developed higher emotional body,
Mhm.
and without any intention it just automatically radiates? How about that? Like, what's the difference, or is there any difference between the person who has learned to radiate and he is purposely radiating to attract the crowd, and there is another being who has that body really developed, but like without any intention? It's like flower is like it releases fragrance without any intention to impress somebody, to attract somebody. So is there any difference, or like what we call it here in two different scenario?
Yeah. Is a flower in bloom trying to be beautiful?
Ah, so wow, wow, wow.
One organic purpose behind that is definitely to like for perpetuations,
To
like
get bees to come and feed it and stuff like that. But it's just, it doesn't even know it's beautiful. It just so at the beginning, and this is partly what this chapter is about, is learning how to find the place in you called presence and attention, in the particular moment of being, negative emotional impact. Can you get to the place where you're in presence? That's a question.
say it one more time, David.
Yes. This chapter is trying to exhibit to us the concept of getting into presence and attention, and our presence, even when we're subjected to negative emotions. So can we be in our presence and a negative event occurs? Can we part the Red Sea so that the immediate, what is the mechanical reaction to it, isn't the first thing that comes along? Doesn't mean it won't come along, but doesn't define our path. If we're really hit by a negative emotion, maybe it springs us into self-awareness and attention.
David, I must say that maybe the group does feel the same. Um, I sense that we have not left the other book, of the presence, and it's always the same.
It is.
Different books, but we are always
Good for you.
exercising. No, Nick.
Yes.
You feel that?
Yes.
That's
Yes,
the whole
because
central idea of the teaching.
yes, yes, we change the book, we change, and we are always exercising that. No, it's wonderful. Different words, but the essence is there. No,
Yeah.
to be there, alive, present, and aware. Ooh.
In the book called The Hidden Work, I've got that thing on.
There you go.
The Hidden Work, in chapter 1 of The Hidden Work, it says that imagine that you've you stumble on this fragment. And you know, it reads it, but like, for instance, it says, real prayer is a technical activity, not necessarily enjoyable or understandable. Ordinary ideas about prayer have no reality. Prayer absolute is an entirely different activity, an entirely new category, requiring the temporary passage of those performing this service into a much higher dimension for the sake of the absolute. The exact technical method for prayer absolute begins as, and then it says, here the fragment suddenly drops off. So what if all we had with this little fragment? And sometimes I say, why don't we just forget the other chapters of the book and just stay on this for a year? Would we reconstruct the rest of the book? Not sure. So when presence becomes, I don't want to say secondary, becomes natural to you. It's a natural refuge. There's a good way to put it, right? You know this word?
Yes.
So that when you're attacked by the world, you can go to that refuge, which is the surrender. Let those things pass through you. I am not that.
So when you say refuge, you don't mean that we are going into that safe, comforting space. You're saying to experience it and not be affected by it. And
I would say that you probably are going to be affected by it. The question is, how important is that affectation to you versus presence? Even to the extent where you're standing next to the machine, you're going, oh my God, look at that. It got so sad when it said that my team lost the game. And but then being sad means something very specific for you. Okay. But it's like you hear sports is a hard one for me because I have very little attraction to sports and it's enormously popular in the world. But let's say your team wins and you hear the score and immediately go, oh, good. And which I can't get. But anyway, you're ebullient. Your team loses.
David,
Huh?
um, when I was in Chicago, I was uh, I was living in a four-bedroom apartment, and I had so many roommates. And all of them football fanatics, and each one would be supporting a club. This guy would be supporting Liverpool, this guy would be supporting Manchester United, and then every week they would come on a Sunday, they would talk to each other, hey, we lost, hey, you did that, and then they would have this argument or whatever fight or whatever that
Right. So
thing
in a
that they,
case
they
like
have
that,
going
they've
on.
given up their self for that part of their machine. They've given it away, right? And what I'm saying is, but you know, part of the exercise in this chapter is instead of being engulfed by the negative reaction to the thing, can you part the Red Sea? What do you think he means by part the Red Sea? Everybody should comment on that.
My first uh, reaction, my first
Yeah.
reaction, my first reaction to the question of your question is, let the thing pass through you.
Yeah.
Um, when we were boys, we used to make fun of oh, I am a mirror. What you say to me reflects. I don't get it. No,
Yeah, yeah.
in Spanish, we said espejito, espejito. Espejito, says the children. Espejito, espejito, mirror, mirror. So when they are bullied, they can somehow refuge in that. Even it's not sure it can. The thing is, at least not overreact. Reaction is normal. You have react, but overreaction is not the best thing to do. And another thing, because I will lose it, in the teaching, help me, but this, when you said, I take refuge, there is some kind of saying, I take refuge in the Sangha, I take refuge in the,
Yes.
yes, because that is good reminder, no? When in those moments. And why not take refuge? Why shouldn't we take refuge?
We can learn to open the water. Okay, but let's talk about that for a minute. How do you take refuge in the Sangha?
Well, you open yourself to the brotherhood. Uh,
Okay, but tomorrow morning when you get up at 8:30 and go to class, the Sangha isn't physically with you, are they?
Not physically, but
I
no.
mean,
Well, we have never physically met, so
well, you
there you
can
go.
fly us all out there and we'll go to class with you, okay?
I would love to all of you to come with me. That'll be so much fun and an
We'll,
interesting experience to say the least.
we'll watch you very carefully.
Well, the whole
Okay,
class will watch us. Like, who are these guys?
so can you tap into the Sangha when you're at class tomorrow, Nikhil?
remind,
His head
remind,
brain is just boiling at this point.
remind, remember, remind. Remind is what a word.
Can
Remind.
you find the Sangha tomorrow when you're at your first class?
I will give it a try.
Oh, well, wait a minute. That's too easy.
Hmm.
That isn't that like one of the excuses?
No, it's not on there, but maybe I'll add it. It's so how are you going to access the Sangha? Swati, do you know the answer?
No, I actually missed the whole point of what is Sangha.
Sangha is the group, the people, the community.
Okay, are we talking any specific here for Nikhil?
Yeah. Nikhil's going to go to school tomorrow and
Okay.
he's going to float into his typical mechanicality in his classroom, desperately trying to take notes or whatever they do nowadays, keeping up with the class. And I'm just asking him, can he tap into the Sangha while he's in the class tomorrow?
Mhm.
I mean, I have never tried it before.
How would he do it? Swati, can you tell him how to do it?
Hmm, I have no idea. So it's kind of like a
Well,
reminder you are
do
trying.
I
Wait,
do I
wait,
need to
wait. Let her
do
finish. Let
something?
her finish, Nikhil.
Yes, sir.
So are you talking about like how to remind himself when and like during whatever his mechanical stuff is doing and in between, like try to put up a points there as a reminders or
Like right now, can you tap into the feeling of the Sangha right this second? Very hesitantly, he's nodding his head.
I
His
was not
mental
hesitant at all. I
his
did it
mental center won't
immediately.
allow him to say yes. His brain is going, God, what if I say yes? What's he going to say? Say no? Yes, you can, because you're in it right now. You're bathing in the Sangha. Okay. Now, let me ask you, Nikhil, how are you experiencing being in the Sangha right at this second? Literally talk about your body. Where is it in your body that you feel it?
I mean, I don't have an explanation of how I am feeling it. I am just feeling it. This is an
Okay.
experience I'm having at the moment.
Do you feel it in your toe?
David, you're you are the devil.
I try my best, Bernie.
I think a question
Oh,
is
but
significant though.
Yes, it
I'm
is.
also even wondering, like, yeah, you are there, you know it, but where do you feel it? Correct.
Something
excellent
in your
question.
body is going to reflect that.
Mm.
It's going to be, it's actually going to be very specific for you. It may not be exactly the same as for me, but it'll be very specific for you. You kind of know, oh, I'm here. This feels familiar.
For me, sometimes I get a strong sensation in my chest
Okay.
or in my stomach or near my heart.
Solar body in your heart, chest, whatever it is. Let's just start there. Okay. Do you know where that is right now? Just use your sensing mechanism.
You know,
Uh-oh.
I was thinking, yeah, I feel it in my stomach, but then I just had this food and I'm so full. And I'm confused whether my stomach is full or is it I'm feeling the sensation.
Hey, I had a all night experience with somebody on LSD, and it was similar to what you're talking about. But so yeah, it could be your stomach, it could be the flu, it could be the headache, but Spinoza says, have I ever used Spinoza in this particular group?
I don't know Spinoza.
Spinoza is a 17th century philosopher. He lived in Amsterdam around the time that like Rembrandt was painting. Okay. And he produced a work of philosophic inquiry that is prized, you know, it's prized throughout the centuries. Okay. It's in what's called the human dialectic. Now, he said that when you're certain, there's no need to have proof. You just are certain. Allow yourself to be certain as well as you can. You don't have to be great at it, just as well as you can. Okay. I'm talking to you, Nikhil. Okay.
Okay.
Now, this is a question that makes sense to me, but it may not make sense to him. Do you know how to get there?
To get where?
Do you know how to get to the sensation, the of presence within you? Do you know how to recognize it? Maybe that's a better word.
Mm. So for me, uh, the possibility is there only when I'm present in the moment. So there is room for observation. If not, then forget about it. I am
Are
not,
you in presence and the observation now?
yes.
Okay. What does it feel like? That right there. Don't even think about it anymore. I know you got it. Okay. Don't mental it. Now, what I want to say is like, get your the map of get your map out of your inner Bardo and mark that space. Like make a big mark on the map, okay?
Mm.
That's kind of what these classes are all about. Everything anybody says, whatever I say, the book says, doesn't matter. Can you mark that place on on your map? Then, when you go to class tomorrow, find that place again. See what I'm saying?
Yeah,
That's tapping into the Sangha.
kind of like remember the beachhead and go back to it.
It is the beachhead. The beachhead, we work hard we fight with our guns and whatever, and we establish a beachhead. That's what I'm talking about. That's the beachhead. The Sangha, it makes it kind of easy for us to recognize it, isn't it?
Mm.
Yes.
Being together makes it easier for me. It's kind of like nostalgia in a certain way. Oh, I feel at home here. Prior to coming, I don't necessarily feel at home. But once I'm here, I'm really glad to be here, and I really am.
So in that aspect, David, I want to discuss one thing, which is
Please.
for me important in the sense that, you know, at times we do a lot of stuff like, you know, the household stuff, the job, the taking care of whatever your responsibility, this and that. And when you realize, like, you know, at the end of day or some months or whatever, and say you haven't done anything for your own, like, you know, the real work thing, right? Then some kind of like, you know, feeling that you miss, like you wasted time or whatever. So like these particular classes, right? We meet on Monday, then there is a different group that we meet on Wednesdays. Now I started going into the morning meetings. During those times, I get a special feeling where I feel like I am not completely wasting the opportunity that I have got into the human body.
Correct.
And that gives me one kind of a space where I feel not like fulfillment in terms of the materials aspect, but I feel content inside that something is happening and I am moving maybe at very, very slow speed or whatever, but I'm doing something like, you know, I'm taking off some or hurdles out of my way to reach wherever, like, you know, the goal is or the inner work and
That
stuff. So
sensation that you have, Swati,
I'm
that
sorry.
sensation,
Right. Yeah. So
put it
what
in
you are
your
saying, you are like
purse.
feeling home, right? That kind of feeling, like when we
It
meet.
feels like home, doesn't it? That's good for you.
Right. Yeah,
It's like my soul is saying, this is where I need to be.
correct.
Okay, I don't understand it. I can't figure it out. Da 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 da. But I can recognize it. And all I'm saying is get as certain as you can about the sensation of it, then put that sensation, put it into your purse, and then when you go shopping or go to whatever or running around the house, know that you can open your purse and find it. It's right there. Okay. I used to
You know,
carry Bardo cards around in my pocket. I just pick one randomly during the day in the morning, and I go about my day, I go to clients, go to this, and then I pick the card out in the middle of the day because the card kind of says what space you're in, and it's like an interesting reminder. So find your way to this space, and in the most harried times, in the most difficult times for you during the day, Remember that it's there. That's tapping into the Sangha.
David, for me, when the uh, series of events start to happen during the day when I'm going from one place to other, whatever,
Yeah.
going to work, coming back to work, I get so lost in the cycle of it all that 99.99% of the time I always forget.
Okay.
I
So
forget to,
everybody's going to say that. That's like the common. Okay. Now, do you have, I have in my pocket when I go out, not when I'm in the house. When I go out, I have my keys to the house. I have my little beeper thing for the car. And then I have a special little sigil in my pocket. My hand touches that sigil every once in a while. Boom. Of course, the machine is going to work during the day. That's what its job is, Nikia. We love it for that. We're thankful for it helping us. We're not trying to say it's bad. We just want to say, well, we can also be here.
right.
And
I
then,
don't say the sleep of the machine with some negative
good,
connotation. I'm
good, 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 good.
grateful for the mechanicality of the machine. It's
Me
just
too.
that I look at, let's say now I'm at this meeting and I was looking back at the whole week at what I did because this is the practical book that we are dealing with, requiring a lot of practical exercises. And I was thinking to
Yeah.
myself, okay, let me think of I was just recapping the whole events of the week, and I'm thinking, did I ever remember to do anything, and then uh, like
So
that.
all over my house, my little teeny house here, I have two little, actually I have three, but so I have three little cards, okay? And let me take this of mine. You can't read that, can you?
Yes,
Am
am
I
I
dreaming?
dreaming? Yes.
Okay. So this is all over I have this, and the other thing I have is I'm trying to find it. Well, I have four of them now, but it's like I have this is a place for wonder right here.
Mm.
And then I have the prayer absolute copied and around.
Mhm,
Because some of those words, even though I'm in mechanicality, I see those words and they lift me
mhm.
into a higher vibratory sensation. Hey, Elka.
So it's
Hi, I'm so sorry I got all lost. For an hour, my memory got washed.
you
And that
didn't miss
rhymes.
anything.
We're just getting nothing
Start.
important been said yet.
We
We're
begin now, Alka. Is what
just
it is.
getting to the important stuff.
Okay.
We're the slow, very slow group here.
Yeah.
We are
But
not hurrying for anything. No rush.
Anyway,
Time is eternal and there is no hurry, no worry.
So
no,
so
don't
David,
worry.
so David, you have surrounded yourself with remembering factors in your room,
The reminding factors I've got, and you've seen my notebook, right?
right?
This is the notebook I take into client meetings when they're paying me big money, and I got right in there, right from the Invocation of Presence book. May this be used to invoke the present of my presence into the present. May this, whatever it is, which makes it so much fun.
Mm.
David, the way you describe your notes and everything, it kind of reminds me of going through the chambers of the ABD. because
The Chambers
most
of what?
of the American Book of the Dead,
Yeah, it is.
because it has a lot to do with recognizing and noticing in
Yeah.
different chambers.
We're always in the Bardos, my good man. Okay. We're floating in and out of the Bardos. And what Bardo are we in today? And so we have the ability to find our presence, and we use our sensing mechanism to get back to it. Do you know the story of Ariadne and the what was the bull called in the Minoan the Minoan labyrinth?
Minotauro. Minotauro.
Minotaur. Yeah,
Yes.
it was the Minotaur. And the Minotaur was killing all of the big guys. And she put a thread in the labyrinth so somebody could find their way out after battling the Minotaur. And that's all I'm saying is find the thread back to your presence, however it works, all week long, all day long.
David, you said you have 4 different cards. Would you mind sharing the other 3? One you said, Am I dreaming?
See how she is? Checks, paid attention, huh? Here's the other one. I am exactly where I need to be. I am open to the universe and trust in the unfolding of my life. So there's dreaming, wonder, this exactly where I am, and then the fourth one is the per absolute. Per absolute is really a nice one, you know. Isn't that backwards?
Emotion.
No, it's
Uh,
correct.
we see it. We see it.
It's
You say it
backwards
regular?
only to you. It's only to you that it is backward.
I felt like that, Nikhil.
That it mirrors, sometimes it mirrors.
Don't we all feel that from time to time?
Oh well. So it's like I stumble on them during the day. Okay? Because I really want to I want to expand my what is it, the beachhead thing? I want to expand that more and more and more. The mechanicality is going to work. So what? Got this other thing, okay? I got this other jewel. And the question that Bernie raised, which is, how do you take refuge in the Sangha? And that's kind of what we've been chewing on the last few minutes here.
In a way, the beachhead will lead you to the Sangha.
The beachhead is the concrete that you step on. And then, yeah, you're right. The beachhead is what allows us to embrace the Sangha. That's right, exactly, Nikhil.
So I'm just going to revise my understanding of the beachhead. The beachhead is that permanent place you built, that it's like a colony that you've built, that you
Yes.
have traveled so far and you can't return from here. So it's like whenever you feel lost, you look for the beachhead, right? It's like
I can't remember what chapter it is in the
human
HBM.
biological
It's the attack at dawn.
attack it on.
Pakistan. Okay, I don't remember the
Oh,
number.
we are becoming like you, David.
Huh? Uh-oh.
Nowhere close. But yeah, it's a good idea.
So, David, I must confess that during the week, when during the times that I remembered that I have to do this exercise, I still was confused as to what do I need to do? What do I need to do uh, for the week? You
Yeah.
know, Uh, like, do I just let it happen and see what happens, or do I need to do something? Uh, uh,
So next week, what are we supposed to do now? The class is
I
over.
don't,
Yeah,
I
you're
don't
bringing
think
up
we
all
finished
these.
chapter two. I don't
You're
think we
bringing up
have.
all these big questions, and right at the end of the chapter, see how you are. We haven't
See,
finished
one
chapter
thing,
2. Go ahead, Swati.
That was Alka, but I really want to share one like small thing that
Please.
something like what you did, like you have some cards. So I have like done mental cards in the sense that few of the stuff, right? Say I'm brushing my teeth every day in the morning in front of the mirror. That time I have put something there in my head that when I see myself brushing, I try to remember myself, even just for a second, but that
Yeah.
is a small thing. Second thing, when I lock the car doors, my house doors. Third thing, when every day, like, I have a stand-up meeting
Perfect.
at work. So when situation is very tense and boss is after you, I remember that, hey, Swati, this is not at the end of the world. Bring
That
your
is,
and presence.
those are
So
examples of
yeah,
parting the Red Sea.
right.
Okay. She's seen the circus in front of her. She says, so what? I got this.
So it helps like sometimes, not sometimes, but most of the times with little bit of effort that I want to do it, say 4-5 times of a day, I fix that. During this time, I'll try to remember myself and try to be in present moment.
Beautiful.
And yeah, that helps me.
That is the purpose of chapter 2. Finding regular things where you're in normal mechanicality and inject those moments with this concept of parting the Red Sea.
so I think what I wanted to say was somewhere between both of them, which is between what both of these friends said. It was that when I am looking at my week, when I decided that I have to do a certain exercise as well, somewhere in that exercise, my attention, my focus is not there. But there is a permanent, I would say, beachhead or a state wherein certain things I'm already doing in a certain way.
Good. Good. That's you're voting for the essential self. We talked about Spinoza briefly a little while ago. And he basically, I'm paraphrasing, but he says, make deposits in the essence bank. And if all you can do is put 1 penny, put 1 penny.
So then it's okay.
It is
Do
okay.
not be good. Okay.
Here, Bernie has a
I
comment
can
here.
still try to put some extra force, right?
Say it
I can
again.
still try to put some extra force, right? Because this is a pattern that I've seen, that if I want to do something, there would be a, hit back from there. There would be something that would hit me back from doing that particular thing so intensely. So then
The
should I
machine
try
is
to
so
apply?
clever. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Mhm. So shall I try to then in that case put extra force to kind of try to break that pattern? Even in smaller, so that the bit about the third force, putting the extra force where it is at the right intervals so that you are able to break through a particular loop. I'm doing it on a larger scale. But I think there's so many small little circles where that can be applied. That extra force thing. My only only worry is that I should not be too harsh on myself. But I've come to a conclusion that sometimes you have to put extra force.
Well, if it's really, so what I say, if it becomes important to you, okay, to you, not because it doesn't look good or whatever, but it's important to you, then we can work on what's called finding ways and means to penetrate it. Nothing in the thing itself brings the solution. There's an injection from outside that if you bring that into it, it begins to loosen it up. Does that make sense at all?
No.
No, okay. I had this feeling once that what we should do is really learn these chapters and then give each other the exercise.
Mm.
But so you just said, if I understood you correctly, that there's this one or several really big things that you try to change and then you get defeated, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. I hate to ask you this, but I'm going to ask you anyway. Okay.
That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Thank you for asking.
Could you describe one of those?
So I'd say that, see, I know that, and we've discussed this before during HPM, that eating junk food is not good for me.
The what?
Eating
food.
junk
Junk
food
food.
or
Okay.
overeating is not good for me. But from time to time, I keep falling back to it. And those
So
periods,
that's what you want to look at, is eating junk food.
that's one of the things, one of the big
Just
things.
focus on that, okay? So what junk food would you like us all to eat?
Right now, nothing. But
Okay,
from time to time, everything.
but I want to be like you, okay? Oh, I want to eat the same junk food you eat.
Next time, invite us so we can join you.
We'll all
So you
sit
won't
in-
feel as guilty as you do. We'll all feel the guilt. We'll share the burden.
So there is the generality called, the super incredibly big generality called, I eat junk food. Okay. It's huge. It's like this big thing. Before you actually eat the junk food, I'll give you an example of how I eat junk food, okay? So I went to the store the other day to buy some supplies, okay? And then I walked by the ice cream,
Section.
huge, okay? Like 10 feet of ice cream. Now, I didn't go into, is this good for me? Should I? I opened the door and bought some ice cream sandwiches. Do you know what that is?
Yes.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Okay.
Mm.
And I'm going, wow, this is pretty weird. So I bought the ice cream sandwiches and somehow I got all the way home without eating any. And then I ate one.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't know, it took like 24 hours. I mean, it really devastated my system for a while.
Oh,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay. So what was going on in me as I walked to the ice cream section and opened that door? I mean, that's like a pretty deliberate act, right?
craving?
Yeah. it seems like a pretty deliberate act, but it is not.
And I noticed myself doing it, but I let it run. I found it interesting that I did it and then didn't hesitate. And back here, there was all these things I could hear, these little whispers in my ear, oh, well, you kind of deserve it. And it's
You know,
I
we
can
have
relate that.
this was a very difficult day, and your leg kind of hurts because it does, and but so it's kind of like, anyway, like I have the right to buy this.
I mean, you clearly do.
Hmm.
I'm thinking how well we are doing as a group because I just went to the grocery store today and I bought myself 5 bags of chips. And
Oh
I'm
my
feeling so
God.
guilty right now. I got 5 bags
So
of
fine,
chips.
now I've tried to stop feeling guilty about three habits I have that
Well,
are
I wasn't
major
feeling
that I
guilty at all until now, till you brought it up.
Go ahead.
Sorry, go
no.
ahead.
So what I've stopped feeling guilty about it, and I go into the observation mode that you've eaten. It is making your body feel in a certain way.
Yeah.
You realize your body is feeling different, and you just keep looking at it. Order again, eat again, feel again, see that you're putting on weight. Stay in
Yeah.
that circle till something in you says, stop, slow down, stop, slow down, right? So I'm just waiting for this to happen, but it's a very, very slow process.
But it is slow, and I don't know how old you are, but it took 20, 30 years to establish it. Okay. And behind it is the psychology, which may or may not be of interest, but it took a long time for this part of the machine to develop. It is a way of offloading the limitations of your broadband at that moment. You're overwhelmed. You can't handle what's going on. That's okay. That's the truth. But at this point, I just say, can you possibly observe it like a scientist, like a spy on it? But that doesn't do you any good, is what you're saying.
It's doing me good in the sense that I feel slightly more relaxed with my wrong decisions. Earlier, I used to
Yeah.
feel really bad about my wrong decisions. Now I am relaxed in my wrong decisions. I'm relaxed in my nervousness. I'm relaxed. I'm trying to relax in things that make me anxious. I try to relax in things that shake me. I try to relax in everything.
I can't wait for the next time you go have junk food like me, okay? Because I'm very interested in the mechanism. How does it work? What's going on in you? What went on in you during the day that built up and you go, okay, good. I know I get off at 7 o'clock, but I know I
It's an
can.
emotional satisfaction, like junk
Exactly.
food or late night eating. I'm feeling hungry at night. Okay, I've decided that I'll stop having dinner. I'm almost 40. Time to stop having dinner, right? But at night you feel those pangs, and okay, you can eat a little bit for those pangs, right? But then there is this, I'm sad, this is so good, I want to have more. So that
Sure.
eating for
Comfort food.
emotional satisfaction, yeah, comfort food. It is
That's why they call
eating
it
for,
comfort food. Right. So let me ask you, how
I
many
think it's
times
called emotional eating. It's not called comfort food.
emotional eating,
Comfort,
okay?
yeah,
How many
emotional
times
eating.
have you shared this in public?
not the details of it, but when I got fat, I spoke to a couple of friends that, I'm emotional eating.
Yeah, but now you're sharing it with this group. You don't, I mean, we don't even live next to you. Though now I want to go party with you and have junk food because I think you were partying a lot before. You haven't heard that in about a year, but it's like so in my opinion, the act of sacred confession is a healing factor in whatever it is that you're sharing to the Sangha here. Because guess what? We love you more than we care about your junk food. 100%.
Yeah.
Okay? And we
Yes,
believe,
I'm aware of that.
and we believe in your essential self. Do you guys have McDonald's or Jack in the Box or things like that in your
Yeah,
country?
yeah. We have an Indian
You
brand
name
called
it.
Burger Singh. There's an Indian brand called Burger Singh.
Yeah, right? That's the truth. And it works on everybody. But I consider it a beautiful gift to us that you're willing to share that in front of us. Okay? And I thank you for doing that.
Yeah, but the point is that there is no point actually. But the thing is that I just wanted to share.
Alka, one thing, even like, I want to share with the law of pendulum. If you are like very hard on yourself, like not to eat, it will bounce back. And
It bounces back. So that was the question of the force,
yeah,
that how much, yeah. So that's where we started. So it has taken me 2 years to build a routine of getting up in the morning, praying, taking a bath, and that took me 1 year. The next year was I started refining, and I've added the 5 Tibetan rites to my. So it has taken me 2 years to establish these 5 habits, but I need to have way more.
Sounds like you're doing really good to me.
Alka, my feeling for you, because I think it's very nice what you're saying and sharing, but I am specialist in finding paradoxes. I am very vanity. Have you noticed how the mind works? You say to yourself, I must not persecute myself. I don't know if the word persecute in English. When you
Persecute.
persecute, I must not persecute. Okay, yes, I must not persecute. And you start
Yeah.
not persecuting yourself. There is it's like a labyrinth. You cannot escape from the mind somehow, no? Because there is something that is blah, bah, 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 on your head. You want to be better, so you want to be better, and so trying to be better is how I remind myself some minutes ago when I said a saint is a saint because he doesn't know he's a saint. Once the mind is working and fighting, and that is what you have is fighting. You have fight. You work hard, you work harder, and there is no escape from that. I think this is the first point to realize there is no escape, and we have to realize there's no escape. What you can do is some correction. You have to take it easy, relax, laugh at yourself. Not many more things to do because we are programmed to react in that way. Mostly in this kind of society that we are workers. You know, we have to work. We have to be profile. No, profile. I don't know what. We have to have exit. You have to exit of success. You know, so we are part of a society that is not very helpful. But the final, what I want to transmit to you, we should, or we could be grateful to, in the case, the junk food, because the junk food for you is where you can learn about your machine and use some correction, but not, if the correction is, I want to get rid of this, is like you have read in the ABD. Where do you want to go? Anywhere but here. That's not the way the things go better. I hope you understand my point. That's it, not more.
All right. We seem to have gone a little bit beyond our time, but that's all right. So let's continue with this chapter. I don't think we are done with this chapter yet.
Very good.
Uh, let's give another week for this chapter. Oh, Alka, since you're back here again, I just want to say let's just give one more week to this chapter, and let's come back next Monday and see how the week goes. All right, folks. Thank you everyone for coming. Thank you, Bernie, David, Nishant, Swati, Alka, and I'll see you guys next Monday.
Thank you, Nikhil. Take care.
Bernie, you're muted.
I'm a bit emotional. I say I love you all.
I love you all.
Yes, truly, truly. It was it's incredible. An hour and a half passed, and it was a
Yes,
minute. Incredible.
yes.
Beautiful.